I have a theory. Hear me out here. Let's just call this a random rant. Didn't really go anywhere, but I felt like it was important to put out there. I think there's a lot more guys that actually do this than probably you are led to believe. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of single men out there. They just don't post all the time. And what ends up happening is, since they're not posting, you're not seeing the content. And I've seen a couple videos from a couple marriage therapists and just therapists in general. Dr. Zeb is great, by the way. If you haven't watched him, he's fantastic. But what he talks about is that there's usually a larger root issue than what you're seeing on the surface level. And there's also this thing called the seeing fallacy, or a good example is all of a sudden everybody's worrying about airplanes, right? And it's because everyone's looking at airplanes. So it's like, oh my God, is the airplane gonna crash? When in reality, flying is probably one of the safest forms of travel. If you're looking for something, the algorithm called life sometimes gives you that thing that you're looking for. Think of as you're driving down the road. We bought a GMC Acadia. I rarely saw a GMC Acadia. I saw GMC Acadias all over the place. We started looking for Toyota Highlanders. I started seeing Toyota Highlanders freaking everywhere after I was looking for Toyota Highlanders. Your brain starts looking for it. This algorithm is basically the same thing. It starts giving you things that really you liked and you were looking for. It's the Matrix 2.0 is probably the easiest way I could explain that. Now let's loop back around. I think what you end up having are multiple people that are doing the same thing I'm doing. Men taking out things from the dishwasher, putting things away. But what ends up happening is they might be in a relationship perhaps with a woman that didn't like where they put the dish, which sends them into a tizzy. So then that becomes the issue, right? It's the way you're doing the thing, not necessarily that you did the thing. And in a guy's mind, he's like, but I did the thing. Why are you worrying about whether or not I did the thing your way and didn't just do the thing? So what ends up happening is your brain is now trained to look for the thing that you believe on social media is occurring much more often. And men are actually doing putting away the dishes and more domestic care in the home than you might actually be led to believe. Now, of course, I'm not talking about all men, because there's gonna be your extremes on every side. This should be obvious to most people. It might not be. Some of you might not have even made it this far into the video. Brain rot, attention span deficits and stuff. But essentially, what I believe is happening, mainly on social media, is that you get confirmation bias pretty often. And what you don't see are more men actually doing the domestic labor. I see it in the comments. They just aren't content creators. The ones that are content creators, you'll see them as well. And what you wind up seeing on some of these female content creators that go after men are men that are bitter. Just like you see women in some of these comments that they're just bitter, right? Hurt people, so to speak. So perhaps maybe, just maybe, the algorithm's feeding you a confirmation bias. Maybe. And those content creators that you seem to enjoy, that put out content that basically they're just angry all the time. I saw one content creator that literally had the audacity of saying, I've never met a man smarter than me, which is kind of wild because I believe she's married. So basically she's saying her husband's dumb. It's kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever said that my wife is dumb. I believe my wife is smart as fuck. I don't think she'd ever call me dumb. Hope you have the day you deserve.